Hello everyone, welcome to PUC Online Classroom. Today we are moving on to activity number 4, Unit 15. Alright, word power, free time activities and events. So before I talk about this further, I'd like to wrap up the lesson that we learned last week, which is about present continuous and be going to. Alright, so you probably remember how to use all of them. Present continuous, we focus on future arrangement. Alright, so arrangement means we have more people to know our arrangement. And be going to is about future plan, future intention, and it just only you to organize the plan, and not many people know about your plan. Alright, so this is about the differences. And at that time, I asked you to do exercise A, column A with present continuous, and column B with be going to. And after you finish part A, you can go to part B by going to match, write the invitation in column A with responses in column B, okay? So let's try all together this time. Number one, so column A is about present continuous, column B is be going to. So column A, you can simply say, what are you doing tonight, right? And number two is, are you doing anything on Friday night? Okay. Number three is, we are having. Number four, are you staying? Because it is present continuous, all right? And in part B, sorry, column B, we have to use be going to. I am going to be, and letter B, my father is going to visit, all right? And I am going to be home. Letter C, I am going to work. And letter D, I am going to stay. All right, so because part A, column A, is about present continuous, and column B, I'm sorry, column B is about be going to. Okay, and in part B you have to match. So number one, what are you doing tonight? Would you like to go out? So we can say letter C, sorry, I can't. I am going to work late tonight. How about tomorrow night? Okay, so number one goes to letter C. What about number two? Are you doing anything on Friday night? Do you want to see a movie? And then the correct answer is letter D. Can we go to a late show? A late show is the show that plays very late. I am going to stay at the office till 7. So number two goes to letter D. Number three, we are having friends over for a barbecue on Sunday. Would you and your parents like to come? And then the answer is B. Well, my father is going to visit my brother at college, but my mother and I are going to be home. Okay, would love to come. So number three goes to letter B, and last one is A. So we don't need to spend time doing this. So now let me go to this activity number 4, word power, free time activities and events. So these are activities and events that you can do whenever you have free time. Okay. All right. So right here, what you have to do is to put all of this words and phrases, into the right category. We have sports and games, one column, friends and family, another column, art and performances is the last column. Okay. So art and performance is something related to art, drawing, singing, dancing, things like that. Okay. All right. So let's begin with rock concert. So rock concert is a concert, right? But that concert is about rock. So the answer should be art and performances. Okay. Soccer game. So there will be sports and games, right? A birthday party. It will go with friends and family. Okay, birthday right here, friends and family. Barbecue should be also friends and family. A film festival, yeah, film festival, some kind of performance. Okay, art and performances. A class reunion is about going back together, just like seeing together with your friends that you haven't met for a long time, so that should be friends and family. A wedding, also friends and family. A musical, that should be art and performances, okay, because musical right here it related to a musical movie, so it is about art. A car race is competition of sports and games, so we'll put it right here. A hip hop dance performance is performance, so we'll put it right here. Art and performances. A video game tournament. A video game tournament is a video game competition, so it will go with sports and games right here. A baseball game is sports and game. All right. Okay, so once again, rock concert, we have art performance, soccer game, sports and games, birthday party, friends and family, barbecue, friends and family, a film festival, arts and performances, a class reunion, friends and family, a wedding, also friends and family, musical, art and performances, a car race, sports and games, a hip hop dance performance, art and performances, a video game tournament. So, sorry, is a sports and game tournament. Okay, almost missed this one. A baseball game, sports and games. All right. Okay, so that's it for this activity. Let's go to the next, which is number 7. I think you can listen and refer to the audio that I touch, and then you can get the answer from the listening. Okay, especially part B, listen to 3 other phone calls, write the caller's names. So you have to listen and find out who calls. All right, that person. So there are 3 callers. So make sure that you get the name from them. Okay. All right, so let's go to number 8, grammar focus, formal and informal messages with telling us. So these are messages, everyone, but the message can be in a form of statements and requests. A statement means a sentence or subject, verb, and object. If you take a look at this, we have subject, verb, and object. So that's what we call a statement. So it is a sentence. However, request, when we talk about request, it can be a question, it can be imperative. All right, sometimes it is not about question like this, it's about imperative, because imperative is also a request, just like don't call me now. All right, uh, be quiet. So these are also requests, but it's in a form of imperative. But this one is in a form of question. All right, but it's also a request. Just like, could you take a picture of the board? So you need to get the meaning. Okay, if somebody say, could she take a picture of the board, just like asking for request, right? And imperative, just like don't make noise, it's also is some kind of request. um, mm, be quiet, be on time. You see that somebody asks you to come on time or to be quiet, things like that. So the meaning is a request. So once again, in this lesson, we're going to focus the message, but the message can be in a form of statement and request. All right. So if the message is a statement, we use with a verb tell. So we use tell to talk about the message with statement, and we use ask to talk about the message with a request. Okay, as you can see right here, the examples. So let me try the first one. Statement, I'm going to miss class tonight. Please, you have 2 choices. You can say please, or you can just say tell. Okay, but to soften your request, you should use please. Please tell him that I'm going to miss class. Could you tell him that I'm going to miss class? Would you tell him that I'm going to miss class? Actually, you wanna use that direct message to someone, but because you cannot talk to him or her, so that's why you send this message as a statement to someone else to help, and that person will help you to bring the message to the right person that you want to talk to. Okay, and it's also the same thing with request. We have please, also the same thing. Ask her, you can say ask her to take a picture of the board. All right. And could you ask her to take a picture of the board, or would you ask her to take a picture of the board? Okay, so we have 3 different ways. The same thing like message with statement. So the request also the same thing. We have please, could, or would. All right. So Let's study about the forms of them, okay? We sometimes use the indirect request when we want someone to give a message to someone else, just like I explained, okay? Because maybe you have no time to talk to the person that you want to ask, or you probably you don't want to talk to that person, and you can send a message or your message to someone, and hope that that person will bring the message to the person that you want to talk to. All right, and that is indirect request. Okay, indirect requests are considered polite because they soften the request. Yes. So when you talk to that person by just saying I'm going to miss the class, it's just like it's a request, all right, but it seems to be informal, impolite. So to make it polite, to soften the request, maybe you can consider using indirect request like tell and ask. All right, so take a look at the forms right here. So you can say please tell someone that. That is optional, everyone, so you can use it or not is also fine. Subject, verb, and object. So anytime you use please everyone, so you have to use full stop right here. So instead of using please, you can use could or would. All right, so could you tell someone, or would you tell someone that, or that right here, and subject, verb, and object, because that is a statement. All right, and I told you statement is a sentence. A sentence, what is a sentence? Is about subject, verb, and object. All right, so you just copy the statement from the message and use it with indirect request right here. Okay, so could and would are different from please because we have question mark right here, and the difference between could and would right here just about informality and formality. So I think this one is, if you compare to could, this one would is more polite than could. So but they also polite, but if you want to find out which one is more polite, then that should be would. All right, and after that could. Please, maybe it less. All right, it less than this two, that's why we use the first. uh, let's talk about messages with a request. Positive to verb, negative not to verb. Maybe you don't understand what I really meant, so take a look at the forms right here. Please ask, the same thing. Please tell. So message with statement we use with a verb tell. All right, and request we use with a verb ask. So when the message of the request is a positive request, then you have to use to verb. If it is a negative request, you have to use not to verb. Okay, you will see an example of them. Forms, please ask someone to verb or not to verb. Okay, to do or not to do. So if it is a positive request, to do. If it is not, not to do. Okay, could you ask someone the same thing, to verb or not to verb? Would you ask someone to verb or not to verb? It depends on the request. If it is a negative, not to verb. It is a positive, is to verb. And the differences is similar to statement as well in terms of the meaning. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the example down below. So there are two types of requests, direct and indirect requests. So as I mentioned, the message that you really want to talk is direct message or direct request. And we use this to soften the request. That's what we call indirect request. So let's see the statement right here. So the first person is the one you want to talk to, all right? But you have no chance, or you don't see him or her, so instead of talking to him or her directly, you ask someone else to talk to her or bring the message to her or him. All right, just like this. Rata, I'm going to be late for class. And then maybe you are with me, and then you can say can or could. Actually in the lesson we don't have can, but of course you can use can right here, also fine. But let's stick to the book. Okay, so just use could and would. But in the old book we have can, could, and would. All right, so but in this case let's use only could and would. All right, so the answer is could or would you tell. Why we use tell? Because this is a statement. Why it is a statement? Because it has subject, verb, and object. All right, so that's why this message is a statement. And then when it is a statement we have to use a verb tell. So could you, would, could or would you tell Rota? That is optional. You can leave it, you can keep it. It is fine. I'm going to be late for class. So when you use could or would, you need to use question mark right here. But if you use please, so there is no question mark, it's just only a full stop. Okay. Imperative that I explained you a little bit earlier. So we have two verbs, just like in this case. Tida, lend me your pencil. Okay, so your here is Tida's pencil. All right, but maybe you have no time to talk to Tida, then you ask someone else to do it for you. Okay, and this message is a request, or it is in a form of imperative, and it is a positive imperative. We have negative imperative as well, so I will give you an example for this. So let's try the first one. So lend me your pencil. Who is your pencil right here? To Tida is Tida's pencil. So you can say, please, sorry, could or would you tell or ask? So the old book is, and the old book suggested that we can use, if it is an imperative, we can use tell or ask. But in our lesson, we're going to focus only ask. All right, so I will erase this in order not to confuse you. So we'll stick to the point that statement used with tell, imperative or request we use with ask. All right, so that you don't get confused with this forms. All right, would you ask Tida to lend me her pencil? All right, so Tida is her right here. Why her is Tida's pencil, but we don't want to say Tida's pencil right here, so we just say her pencil. And because it is about could and would, we use question mark. However, please ask Tida to lend me her pencil, because we use please, so there is no question mark right here. It's just only full stop. All right, so let me give you another example by using positive. All right, so let me say come to class on time. Okay, so let me say, could you or would you ask Sam? All right, so because I'm sorry, this one is positive, and then let's make it negative. So because we already have positive, I'm sorry for this. Don't be late for class. All right, don't be late for class, and there should be a full stop, exclamation mark. Then what we can say that could or would you ask Sam, because don't means negative, and if it is a negative, we have to use not to verb. So we have to omit don't, but we have to keep not. So we have not, and then we have to, and the verb is the main verb, so the main verb is be. So we have be late for class, and we use could or would, so that should be question mark at the end. All right, so let me give you another one. Let's say Mike, don't let's say don't make noise. All right, so we can say please. So I don't want to say could or would. Use please. Please ask, because it is an imperative. So in order not to confuse, actually you can use tell with imperative, but just stick to the book. So we need to use ask right here. Please ask Mike someone. Okay, and then if this one is a negative, so you have to say not, and then we have to, and then you have to use main verb. So main verb is make noise. Okay, so I use please, that should be full stop. All right, so you see that you have ways to use indirect request to soften the request. Sometimes you said Mike, don't make noise. It's just like it is informal, it's not polite enough. So in order to soften that, please ask Mike not to make noise. So it's just like you ask someone else, and to talk to Mike, so that your request seems to be politer. All right, or more polite. Okay. All right, so once again, before I leave you, messages with a statement, so we use with verb tell. And please tell, could you tell, would you tell someone, and that optional, and subject, verb, and object. And the difference between please, could, would is about punctuation right here. This one we use full stop, and the last two we use with question mark, similar to this one. But if the request is positive, then you have to use to verb. If it is negative, you have to use not to verb. And the verb we use is about ask. Alright, so we have form right here. Please ask someone. Could you ask someone? Would you ask someone? Okay, to verb or not to verb, it depends on the request form. If it is a positive, we use to verb. If it is negative, we use not to verb. Okay, hopefully you understand this, and don't worry, I will leave this exercise for you to practice at home. All right, so if you have any question, everyone, you can ask me in our Telegram group chat, and I will answer to your questions. All right, so let me bring you back to this book. I'd like you to unscramble these messages in this practice. Then compared with the part, but you don't have to, so you have to unscramble. These are scrambled, all right, words or messages, so you have to unscramble them, means put them in order. So we have please right here, so you can say please tell someone, Haru, and then that actually is optional, then you can keep it, that, and then it should be, when you say please Haru tell, we use with statement, right? That should be a statement, and then we use with tell, so you can say please tell Haru that the subject is the barbecue, and then you can say the barbecue is on Saturday, full stop. Why? Because we use please. But don't forget that you have to capitalize letter P. Once again, please tell Haru that the barbecue is on Saturday. Okay? Alright, so I leave the rest for you from number 2 to number 6. Once again, if you have any question, leave your question in our Telegram group chat, and I will respond to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much. Goodbye.